All right, back by popular demand, we are doing another investigative look into top illustration rares to invest in this market. I think with how popular illustration rares have been, everybody's just looking, hey, what are the cards that I need to buy today before I get priced out and they become more expensive tomorrow? You clicked on the right video. Before we jump in, make sure you are subscribing, hitting a thumbs up. We are providing a ton of awesome information. Anytime you guys are shopping for the newest releases, Pitch Black, check out my website, PokeKingShop.com. We have everything, awesome deals. Click my eBay link right here. It's going to direct you to our store. We have single cards, sealed product, Japanese cards, English cards. We're updating hundreds of cards every single day. I guarantee you we have something that you will enjoy. Take a look. But yeah, let's dive in. We have Raichu from Paldea Evolved. Now, this is definitely the sleeper in Paldea Evolved. You know, you are hitting record high prices on the Magikarp. Magikarp's hitting $300, $400, $500. Raichu still sub 100. You know, pay an extra 20 bucks, get yourself a near mint copy. The sleepy Raichu, I think there's been a just kind of a surge in sleeping Pokemon. I don't know why, but the Pokemon community, they just love seeing Pokemon sleep. And Raichu is one that just nobody talks about. You see the popularity of the illustration rare 151 Pikachu. What about Raichu? What about the evolution? Nobody really talking about it. Now, on a market price history graph, past 6 months, it's seen a pretty meteoric rise, up 100%. Was a $50 card, now you got a $100 card. But I think this one still has a ton of room to run because we know for a fact Paldea Evolved is out of print. They're not giving us any more supply of it. The prices of other chase cards in the set continue to go up, and that is a very favorable thing, that when certain cards go up, it makes the entire set more attractive, which then the domino effect is it causes the sealed product to get more expensive. And then when the sealed product gets more expensive, the domino effect of that is the singles that haven't risen in the first place, everything else goes up. And so that's where we are currently at with this Raichu. And it's just in an excellent position to continue going up in price. I'm shocked to see people selling it because, you know, when I look at as old of an set as Paldea Evolved, I look at Raichu, I'm like, hey, that's an S tier Pokemon right there. How is this sub 100? You know, the fact that people are selling this is crazy. Another excellent example, a little newer, but still pretty old. Short printed set, Scarlet, Violet, and Pearl Forces. We never really got any reprints, no extra ETBs, no boxes, nothing. Gastly. And, you know, this is a fantastic pick because when you look at the success of the Sword and Shield era, right, you look at sets like Fusion Strike, you see how popular the Altark Gengar is. So you know that there's a massive backing. Gengar goes down as one of the best Pokemon of all time. And what's fascinating about this card is it features a little bit of everything. You get the Gastly, you get the Haunter, you get the Gengar. You don't know where they're going somewhere. You have a ton of Pokemon in one artwork. You have a little cameo right here by this tiny Meowth. It's just a really cool, unique, mysterious card. And I think with how difficult it is to get, because again, you don't really see that many people hoarding Temporal Forces product. It was a rejected product upon release. Nobody cared about it. Nobody cared about the Virizion or Iron Valley or any of these Pokemon that were released in the Scarlet Violet block. But you look at the market price history, same situation. Past 6 months, up 100%. Past year, up 166%. Now, I am not surprised to see that because at $40, this was a criminal card. And I'll even go as far as saying that sub 100, still a very low price because this is best of breed illustration rare. Best of breed illustration rares should all be over $100. The fact that they are struggling and not really capitalizing too many sales at this price point signals a strong buy. Let's go back to Paldea Evolved for a second. Raichu, we all know is an S tier Pokemon. Maushold, very cool artwork, very vibrant, not nearly as popular of a Pokemon, but you're seeing that even random Pokemon can still hit super high prices. $110. You have an overall market price by TCG here at 101. Needless to say, it's overall 100. Lowest price here in the past 3 months has been $70. You know, worst case scenario, let's say that this card does collapse, you're going to experience a 20-30% loss at most. Now, the contrary option is, hey, you can invest in the stock market, pick an individual stock, which could go down as low as 80%. We've seen it happen time and time again. Big popular companies, even small chip, doesn't matter what it is. You could lose 50, 60, 70% on a stock. You can't really do that with a out of print set on a high rarity card. Does that make sense? Like the Maushold, it's from Paldea Evolved, which is out of print. Booster boxes are 500. It is a higher rarity hit. So, you know, it's kind of that the collectibles market in general kind of forces these cards to get more expensive over time because they're the only thing that could drop the price is a decrease in demand, which we know is not going to happen, or an increase in supply, which we also know is not going to happen because again, you don't have more packs hitting the market. Another excellent example to illustrate this point is going to be taking a look at Black Bull and White Flare. I specifically wanted to take a look at the Oshawott because first off, the artwork on this is incredible. It is very similar to the 151 Squirtle where Squirtle's playing by the beach. Here, again, sleeping Pokemon. Do not sleep on the sleeping Pokemon, okay? If there's one takeaway from this video, it's buy the sleeping Pokemon. You have a starter here, Black and White era, Oshawott, sleeping on the beach, super sick card. But again, White Flare is one of those sets where you don't have more packs hitting the market, so you know there's no increase in supply. That is one of two things in this market that bring prices down. But again, you're not getting more White Flare packs. So the increase in supply, you could eliminate that option. Option two is a decrease in demand. Now, who doesn't want this card in their collection, right? Like, imagine you're walking by, you check this card out. I don't think anybody would tell you it's a bad artwork or it's not a cool card. I think we're at the point right now where if you look at this card, you're going to want it in your collection. Ignore this $500 price point. I don't know what this is. I think this card near mint is still sub 100. I think this right here in the $60 range is light play copy. But again, sub 100 best of breed illustration rares, crazy buy. Same exact situation as Raichu, Gastly. Get yourself the Oshawott. Black Bolt, White Flare is going to perform extremely well. Now, the following card, I do wanted to present the Squirtle. You have that side-by-side comparison. You know, they just go hand in hand together. These are the types of cards, and what I've realized with what the Pokemon company is doing is they're kind of looking at, hey, which sets are successful? How do we design these cards? How can we design more cards to kind of increase the collectability of them? And I think, obviously, the Pokemon TCG, it's played by people, you know, you got the tournaments and everything like that. But the company, again, you got to realize this is a multi-billion-dollar company. They know how to make products that sell. They see the success and they replicate it, because there's no point in just reprinting the same product over and over and over and killing your own game. You know, they would rather just create basically the same environment, same background with a different Pokemon. And in 2023, they did it with the Squirtle, playing by the beach. Everybody loved 151. Plug and play, let's copy it. Boom. Sleeping Oshawott, also by the beach. And, you know, just looking at the success of this card, I obviously know the Oshawott's going to go up, but even the Squirtle still has room to run. You know, this hit a high of 140. It is down 100. This is a Gen 1 starter. The fact that this has like dipped in price, I'm not going to say it's collapsed because it's still overall up. The fact that it dipped in price, again, signals a buy. I would even go as far as saying the Bulbasaur. If we take a look at the Bulbasaur, similar situation. It was 100. Now you're able to get it in the 80s. Super cool artwork. I think the artwork of the Bulbasaur out of the starters, it might be one of the best ones. But this one is not nearly as strong of a buy as the Charmander. Now, the Charmander is an interesting case study here because of the three, you know that Charizard is the most popular, yet out of the starters, Charmander currently is the cheapest. Past 3 months is actually negative. This card hit a high of 100, never went as high as the Squirtle, believe it or not, and now you are in the 80s. Again, really cool card. I think the only downside to this artwork, and this is a theory of mine, so just, you know, take this with a grain of salt, but I think the thing that's holding this card back is the fact that this Charmander, it's just so small. And I know that that's like how the card's designed, that it's like a small Charmander, bottom of the canyon, and then in the Charizard evolution, it's flying out of the canyon and everything like that. But you know, just it's a really small Pokemon, and it kind of takes away from that. Whereas the Squirtle, I mean, it's centered, it's big, you know, and then the Bulbasaur again, a little smaller, kind of just like in the corner. These are starter Pokemon, so they are smaller, but hopefully that makes sense. I think that's why the Squirtle was actually the most expensive, is because it just kind of pops at you right away, whereas the Charmander, for comparison, is so small. But anyways, I digress. And again, really strong buy. Gen 1 Pokemon, what more do you want? Let's go back to White Flare for a second. White Flare, in addition to starters, look at also just, you know, higher end Pokemon that are frequently repeated. Like Zoroark is one of those Pokemon that is constantly popping up. You know, we got it in Ascended Heroes, we got it in White Flare. Anytime you have anything black and white, this Pokemon finds its way. Okay, that signals a strong buy. Even look at some trash set like Shrouded Fable. You have the Zora illustration art, which is extremely popular. And, you know, even Journey Together, I'm pretty sure we have an illustration where Zora and Journey Together. So again, the evolution of it, really, really good card. Sub 100, best of breed, gonna be a really strong buy. You know, I'm ignoring the fact that it's up 70% because these cards still have a lot more room to run because of how scarce the sets are. And, you know, the Pokemon Company obviously prints a lot of these products, but the thing that a lot of people forget is the demand. We have unparalleled amounts of demand, so people are tearing these products. The supply is going down, and quite frankly, we could use 1.5 to 2 times the amount of packs, I think, to regulate this market. Until that happens, the prices are going to remain high across the board. Let's also take a look at the Tyranitar. You know, Tyranitar going back to Paldea Evolved. I don't know how many times I got to tell you guys, Paldea Evolved is across the board. It is best of breed. Like, this is your top 3 Scarlet Violet sets. And it came right at the beginning when nobody wanted it. And I think that really helps the case, because as we got banger sets like Paldean Fates, like 151, you know, after those sets got released, I think people started realizing, oh, Scarlet Violet's actually a good arrow, because in the beginning it was hated. Scarlet Violet base, trash. Scarlet Violet 2 Paldea Evolve, mediocre. Obsidian Flames, trash, you know. But now people look back and they recognize that, hey, these are actually really good sets because they have a lot of really good Pokemon. You know, the Raichu, top tier. You have the Maushold banging, and then the Tyranitar here. Again, another really, really cool card. This one, sub 100. It almost reminds me of just the success of the Paradox Rift Groudon, which is about a $150 card. I could easily see the Tyranitar hitting those levels, so it's a quick double up from here. Two last cards before making this video too long. Again, anytime you are buying these cards, I personally recommend shopping on eBay because you know exactly what you're buying. You can see all the flaws. Many times, good sellers will show you both the front and back. Anytime you guys are buying singles, you know, take a look at my store. We have official scans which show you a precise high definition image of both the front and back. If you want to shop by just all single cards, click that. If you are specifically looking by the language, I have a featured category right here for Japanese, feature category for English. It is going to be the second link in the description down below. And even if you don't want to buy any singles from me, if you want to buy any cards, let's say you really want to buy this Bulbasaur and we don't have it on our eBay shop, no worries. Click this eBay link. It'll direct you to my store. Type right here in the search bar whatever you want to buy. Just by clicking that link, you are helping support the channel. So if you do find value, I really appreciate those who are clicking on the affiliate links and helping support the channel. It does mean a lot. Motivates me as well to make more videos for you guys because I do spend quite a lot of time researching and, you know, giving you an in-depth analysis. But let's continue here. We have Ascended Heroes Psyduck, which I honestly think might go down as one of the best Psyduck illustrations of all time. Okay, I look at how popular the 151 was. The 151 Psyduck illustration rare. But again, what I didn't like about it, I don't have an image here, but it's very similar to the Charmander where it's just super small. It's like a Psyduck running down the stairs, super small. This one, it covers pretty much half the card, if not more. Chilling in the water, smiling. Psyduck usually stressed, depressed, anxious. I don't know. Psyduck here is vibing. It's an awesome card. It's a good vibe kind of energy. And yeah, it's Ascended Heroes, you know. So you look at those two factors alone, the popularity of Psyduck as a Pokemon, awesome illustration, backed by a super good set. You have everything you need for this to be a super good investment. Now, take a look at the chart. Not really too much going on in the past 6 months. Past year, even upon release, $80, shot up to 100, went down. But you're not going to see this card go down in price. I don't know how much supply is going to be needed to cause the prices to go down. But seeing what happened with Prismatic Evolutions and the Pokemon Company just continuing to give us more and more and more and more, the price has never really dropped. Same thing is going to be with Ascended Heroes. It's always going to be expensive. Everybody knows how good of a set it is. This Psyduck at these levels is still going to be a screaming buy. And the last card, to your surprise, is actually going to be a card from Shrouded Fable. It is no other than the Persian. Again, best illustration rare in the set. You have the Giovanni vibe, late night in the city, red carpet, looking in the mirror. You have this like really cool design where you have basically the Persian looking at its own reflection, and then you got this like translucent light. It's just a awesome artwork. I could go on and on, but sub 100, best of breed. What did we say from the start of the video? If it's best of breed, sub 100 is going to be a buy. These illustration rares, you will see that some of these best ones will hit 150, 200, 300, 400, 500. They are just going to get extremely expensive because, you know, many times illustration rares will have cooler artworks than special illustration rares. But I don't know if you guys are prepared for that conversation. We'll save it for another video. That's all I have for today, guys. Like, comment, let me know what you guys think of the picks. Do you agree? Do you not? As always, subscribe, like the videos, and with that, we will catch you here on the next one.